The questions that I have deal with some of the contracts that you have been out there. They're letting. Some of them have been out there a while, and some are more recent. The one that I want to talk about is kind of a change that you guys are all making procurement last year, dealing with dash cams as well as body cams as well as the cameras within the cars as well. And I know we need that to be updated to protect our troopers to make sure that they have all the documentation that they may need. In order to make good arrests and keep everybody safe. My issue is that, or my question comes to the fact of, I understand that we purchased the car computers. I saw a contract that was let out that was for $478,000 to purchase those, but nothing else has moved ahead with that system and making an entire system. So my question's, when will that happen? And are we looking for a vendor to do all of it, or will there be separate vendors? My concern is obviously, and my last question, it deals with where we are with the radio system, but we've dealt with that for 20 years because nothing could talk to each other. If we go down this technology rabbit hole again without having systems that talk to each other, I don't want it to be the same. So can you tell me, when are we doing that contract, and will it be all one vendor, or will you plan on doing a number of vendors?
Ma'am, thank you for that question. Excuse me. We did originally try to procure an ecosystem.
Sorry, can't hear you, that's all.
We did attempt to procure an ecosystem where the actual mobile office, the MVR, and the body cams were purchased so that there was an interoperability between the three of them. And we didn't have sufficient amount of funding to go through that procurement so that we could get all three of them. And what we had to do, what
was the estimate? What was the funding that would have been necessary in order to do all of that together that you did not have?
That would have been about $19 million estimated to start for the first year.
Okay, and so you just went out and did the procurement for the $500,000, basically, the $478 for the computers in the car. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when do you plan on going out for the rest?
Okay. Well, we had to get an emergency procurement for the mobile offices, and that was due to the Windows 7 becoming obsolete in January, and we obtained that procurement, and they're going to start rolling out the new Tough Books, the Panasonic Tough Books for the mobile offices within the next 2 months.
Okay, and the body cams and the cameras in the cars?
No. That we had to separate the emergency procurement order for the mobile offices due to that issue.
Okay.
So that the troopers were able to still utilize the mobile offices in the car.
Okay, and so what is your timetable for doing the other two pieces?
The mobile video recorders will be the next thing that right now they're kind of on their last leg also, and as they break, we're upgrading those, but we fully intend on getting a procurement to replace the MVRs next.
And when you say next, do you mean within the next 6 months? Do you mean the next 6 years?
We're hopeful to get an RFP out this year, yes.
Okay, and that money, I don't see a line item in the budget for that. Where is that money coming from?
That I don't know.
That is not in the budget. There are a lot of things that we have that are unbudgeted at this point in time. Safety equipment, vests, ballistic helmets, those types of things. They're not included in the budget at this point in time. So we will have to look at where we can get our funding from internally to pay for some of those issues. Originally, the RFP for the ecosystem did go over to DGS. However, in the meantime, it wasn't moved on right away, and that was no fault of anyone. However, because the Microsoft 7 was going offline, basically, there would be no more support for that. Our computer tough books that were in the cars needed to be upgraded to continue to run that system. And that's why they were bought on, through the emergency bidding process there, basically, to keep them. It was a plug-and-play type thing. They took the old ones out, they put the new ones in, so there was a cost saving there as well.
Okay, and we want the troopers to have the most up-to-date information. Obviously, we need it to be supported. My concern, I'm just trying to follow the math problem. And if you're moving it to that issue. Before my light turns red, I just want to throw out, usually we ask Major Stackhouse, who's not here today, but could someone please give me an update as to where we stand with the radio system and where we see that going?
The radio system is doing very well. Major Stackhouse and her administrative staff have done an exceptional job to this point with it. We just recently, there was a an auditor general just found that the system was on budget and on time in regards to,
20-year budget?
the P25 system. ma'am.
Okay, 25.
Yeah. Okay, and in the initial $44.5 million, that was, given for the actual radio system, we're falling within the parameters of that. We haven't exceeded in expenditures.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
And we're about 70% completed so far. I expect to be there at the end of the year, so.
With the money that's used as 70%, we will only be 70% once we've used all of the 44?
No, we'll be 70% completed by the end of the fiscal year, having 53 counties on the new radio system.
Okay,